welcome to another unboxing video from theplayersaid.com. My name's Alexander, and today we're actually taking a look at, this is a game from Lock and Load Publishing. It's called A Wing and a Prayer, Bombing the Reich. And this one, I believe, let's see. Well, for all my looking, I can't see it. But this is it's a 1 to 2 player game, which is great for me. I love playing these solitaire games, and obviously it's B-17s, as you can see, and it's bombing the Reich. So this is going to be daylight bombing campaigns. So let's take a look inside. I've played one game from Lock and Load Publishing at this point, and it was a platoon level, almost tactical game, and the components were fantastic. So I do have high expectations because these guys put out a great product. And I can already tell, just so you got a deck of cards here, we'll take a look at some dice. This artwork is unbelievable. This is, what a great image. It's so evocative of what the air crews went through. That's beautiful. I couldn't be happy with that. So this is a very thick semi-gloss card on the outside of the rulebook. And the rulebook itself is what? There's some advertising in here, about 37 pages, but I know a lot of this is, there's some examples of play and designer notes and stuff. There's a lot of pictures in this rulebook, so this is going to be easy to digest. Very easy to digest, it looks like. Large font, typeface is big, so it's, you know, not so dense. And this is, again, there's a lot of, well, I say a lot, there's a few other solitaire games that cover this topic out there right now. I know Target for Today just came out from Legion that's popular, and B-17 Leader from Dan Versen Games. And this is just and they're all very different, and this is, again, another different one. I love the topic, though, so I'll play anything. I'll play anything that looks like this, and this one, I know, is very different from Target for Today, which is scrolling through charts, and it's more story-based. So we've got a 2-player sequence, because you can play it 2-player. That's a single-sided card. And it's, you know, keep that out. Sequence of play, always very helpful. So you've got a squadron briefing card, which will have victory points on here and a campaign progress table. So you'll be keeping track of those on here. So you've got mission VPs and then overall campaign VPs. So we'll keep that off to the side, and that's going to keep track of that. So we've got, it's Air Combat 1 and 2. So you've got 2-player cards here. Let's see. Okay. So this is the combat sequence. So you've got all of these fighter versus fighter combat, and then you resolve all of that in the first round, and then you've got interceptors versus bombers after that, and then air combat conclusion. So this is a really good overview of the combat sequence. Always love it when a game has that. But on the back side, you've got the entire first player sequence of play. So you've got all your pre-mission stuff, determining weather and your target and sorting out the mission deck and all that stuff. And then you've got moving your formation and executing the mission. So you're going to move, do some attacks, you know, fighters are going to intercept you, do flak over the target when you eventually get there, do some air combat, do your actual bombing run, and then getting home. And then you've got some cleanup, where you'll determine your victory, what happened, replacing planes that were destroyed in your formation, things like that. So, very helpful. Love good play cards, and those seem to be it. Okay, so there's a few different charts and papers here. So, there's more charts and play aids. So you got, this is flat combat and air combat modifiers and tables, on the back of which you've got campaign setup and events. So this is just, these are references. Once you're familiar with the game, you can just use these, put the rulebook aside, just go through them and work through that. So I like that kind of thing where, you know, a game will give you a nice rulebook, but eventually it'll just minimize to a few cards. If you even need those, you know, you might get to a point where you can just memorize everything. So you've got CRT here, and this is for bombers and the actual bombing. And then you've got target damage, and then lost bombers fate table. So if you lose bombers, what happens to them? Do they return to base? Do they fail to return? What happens? Things like that. On the back of this one, so this is determining your campaign success. So you're going to do X amount of missions. How many points did you accrue? How many people did you lose? And it's determining level of victory. And then, you know, you've got the war progress events table. So some of these events are going to trigger when certain aspects or certain time criterion are met. And then you've got a VP table. And then your campaign itself is going to progress. If you do a successful mission, this many successful missions, then you'll get extra VPs for the campaign and stuff like that. So again, nice good charts and play aids to help you once you got the game down pat. That's going to be nice. And then for the 2-player game, 1 player plays the defending Germans, and this is kind of their resource table. So how many different bits and pieces they're going to get, and they'll be rolling dice in order to place fighters depending on which year they're in, 1942, 43, and 44. And then the 2d6 are going to determine how much stuff they have available on missions. And then there's VP modifiers. There's a lot of different stuff for the Germans. So it's not just, you know, a kind of a 2D, we made it so you could play the Germans. It's more to it than just that. So I enjoy that. So you've got, this is the formation card. So you'll have, you've got your interceptors, which will keep up in the box here. And then you'll be determining where in the formation things are being attacked and planes are being placed. And we'll get to those, because there's chits for those here in just a second. Again, single-sided card. So this is one of the cards you'll actually have out on the table. These are the ones we've gone through. Most of these you can have in a stack and just reference as you need them, if you need them. The other thing you'll have out here, this is the big, let me move this out of the way for a second. This is the main board, and this is very, very thick card. I'll put it out here just so you can see. So it's map of northern France, northern Germany. So you've got 8th Air Force, obviously based in southern England. And as you can see, it's point-to-point movement. So, you know, you'll pick, today we're going to bomb Metz. So you have to get there. That's the hardest part, is even getting there. And whilst you might take a kind of a circuitous route to get there, that mostly just represents the types of things and the amount of resistance you'd come up against getting there, rather than actually, you know, they do flying that particular way. Although, you know, there's aspects of that too. So, as you can tell, we've got down here, you've got a turn track, and there's 1942, 1943, and 1944, so you'll be tracking the campaign as it goes along as well, based on how many missions you've flown. You have your mission deck down here, which we'll get to here in a second, and you track how many missions you've completed. And then up here, you've got your fighter escort range that you'll be tracking. So there's a bit more, involved with regards to keeping track of that stuff. I know at games like B-29 Super Fortress, you just kind of roll a die. That's how many fighter support you have, and it's an abstract number. Here, it's a bit more fluid and a bit more involved, which is nice. But yeah, you'll be moving your formation through this to get to your target, and then you'll be doing your combats based on where things happen on that formation card we looked at a second ago. But let's take a look at the all-important counters, because that's everything that's left in the box. So we have 3 full sheets of counters, and these are double-sided. And I have to say, I'm extremely impressed. They are really, really nice counters. So these are they're pre-punched and pre-rounded, so it saves me the trouble. So these are ME262s. And let's get some P51s here for your fighter support. As you can see, these are these great 1-inch counters. So let's get the bombers out here. So you got B-24s, P-38 Lightnings, and then this is, oh, that's sad. Let me punch these out. So you're getting shot down, and you've got the flaming side as you go down. This sheet, you've got B-17s, you've got Fs and Gs, and then up here you actually have, these are the crews, which have, I presume these are historical crews with historical crew pictures, which is really nice that they did that. And if you look here, There you go. This is what you want. There's the Memphis Belle. So you'll be flying your actual historical crews in their planes just to give it that extra level of flavor as you're trying to get all your crews through the campaign. And I think that's really neat. That adds a level of immersion where it's not just crew 1, crew 2, crew 3. Now, you can name your own crews if you wanted to, but having those counters is really a nice homage to those guys that, sacrificed so much in order to help the war effort. But that's everything that's in the box. And there's a lot in here, but great play aids, so it's going to be easy to pick this up. A great theme that I've got a lot of interest in, and it looks to be like they did a lot of great. I just really, really impressed and happy about that. I think that's going to make take this game to the next level, really, of just how much immersion you get out of it, and the historical aspects. You got some just administrative counters down here to track bits and pieces, but really, I think the game's going to be fairly simple, which is what I want. I want it to be simple, but engaging and immersive, and it looks to be that. Component quality is fantastic, so I can't wait to get this to the table. And look out for I'm going to write up some kind of AARs or stories of kind of how some of these missions went. So look for those coming up soon in a written and video review. And this has been A Wing and a Prayer, Bombing the Reich, from Lock and Load Publishing. And I'm Alexander from theplayersaid.com. Just came back because I forgot to show the actual cards. These are the mission cards that you'll be playing with. And these just have all of the different targets that you could be doing through the various years. So these are all the 1942 cards here. And you've got the 43 campaign and then the 44 campaign. So I'm going to keep those separate because you'll do the same targets through those years, but they'll have different values to them. So this is 1942. And this has, flak levels, target levels. And if you look, I just love these pictures. Any game that has historical pictures in it, there's something special that brings that game to life and grounds you in the actual history and the sacrifices that were made and the things that people went through, both on the ground and in the air. There's just so much here. Those are really great. So those are 1942, and if you pick up 1944, so the targets are going to be very different. So Berlin, obviously, is the very first one. You got Bremen, as they were plunging deeper and deeper into the Reich to do bombing runs. So Bremen, you'll be hitting some of these places a few times. Looks like you got the firebombing of Dresden. Hamburg, Hamm, Hanover, Leipzig, but just so much great detail in these pictures. And again, just brings to life what really happened on all counts. So I couldn't be happy with how this game looks. I think these are going to be fantastic. It tells you how much fighter support you're going to get on this particular mission, how many VPs it's worth. There's just so much, life in this game. And that's, again, something that I look for in a solitaire game. Something that extra level of history with the pictures or those historical crews we looked at that really brings a game to life and teaches you something as well. And it could be that, a picture speaks 1,000 words, but this is what the crews up in the top of the formation were looking at when they were. So there's just stuff there that brings a game to life. I'm very excited to play this. Once again, this has been A Wing and a Prayer from Lock and Load Publishing.